with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us.
As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I have experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. I invite you to follow me into the unknown. Welcome to the Necromancer Live Show. Hello, and welcome to the Necromancer Live Show. I'm your host, Justin Brown, and I'm glad you're all here with me today. How's everyone doing? I see some people already here. We are going to be talking about the paranormal once again, and we have Missy Vastine here with us. How are you, Missy?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good.
You look tired.
Me? Never.
Yeah.
Never tired. Always awake. Fully awake. We did a poll. And I was trying to be like diverse. And I'm not surprised that, demonic subject was picked. It captures people's fascination, and it deals with people's fears and anxieties and fascination about the supernatural. And I don't think anybody should be surprised or, really, I feel like demonics are probably the most interesting and something that you're going to want to be aware of, something you want to research as much as possible in the paranormal when it comes to the supernatural, because if demonics are real, there's so many implications, right? Like, how should I protect myself? What should I look out for? Am I in danger? And if so, what's going to happen to me? These are all real questions. These are all real concerns. And I think for the most part, people love to downplay the subject because that it is, so serious. The implications are serious, and people are freaked out. And it's totally okay that people are freaked out. It's totally okay. I'm saying it's okay for you guys to be human out there, but I feel like it's a good time to talk about demonic possession, the stages of them, and the first of them being infestation. And I was asking you, Missy, at the beginning, if you knew much about it, and if you researched much about it, and you were honest.
Mm-hmm.
And Missy is not a nerd. She doesn't go read a bunch of material and obsess over all these things. And I feel like someone who is, a practitioner in metaphysics and psychic phenomena, that she's a very intuitive, very just, I'm going to just take it as it comes and feel my way through things, which is totally fine. But I feel like you may want to listen to a few things just so you're aware. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to actually change screens and move my jaw up and down for a few minutes, and then we'll have some talk time. But before we do that, let's shout out some people. We got 15 viewers, it's saying, so let's make everybody feel like they're a part of the stream. Please feel free to share the stream. Get it out. Ooh, I just blew everyone's eardrums out.
You did.
Get the streams out there. Share it out there, because I just feel like if you're into the paranormal and you believe, you have some sort of belief in the supernatural, there'll be takeaways. So go ahead.
I have Joseph Moore. If I pronounce your name wrong, let me know. Maisie Rose, Josh Bender, Donna Abbott, Derek Schreiner, Sam Thomas, and Darren Smith.
All right. Like I said, if you want to get shouted out,
comment something, and we'll at least acknowledge your existence there. If you have any questions throughout, any part of the show, just put them down there. Missy will get to them. And shall we begin? I feel like a lot of people in the ghost hunting community downplay demonics. Why? Well, they're pretty jaded by the idea that Hollywood and the paranormal pulp culture and paranormal media like to use and abuse demonic activity for their own, entertainment. Let's just say that and just leave it as that. It is what it is. But do we constantly live in a world where demonics are at play? Yes, we do. And let me tell you why. Firstly, I would love to tell you that demons are not what Hollywood and the movies portray them as. Big surprise, right? Most of you probably already know, but if you did not, that is true, okay? Any supernatural entity that is not a direct messenger from God is technically considered a demon. Fairies, gods and deities from folklore, pagan gods, all kinds of spirits and supernatural beings that aren't direct messengers and angels from God can be considered demons, depending on how you look at them. Most generally, Christianity sees these entities as demons because they feel like they can't be trusted, for one, to give you information to lead your, life as a Christian would. Okay. And that is true. As that statement is, straightforward, that is generally true. If you are a Christian, you generally want to stick to what the Bible tells you to do. And it's a good idea to just stay in those brackets. Stay in that lane and you should be good. But if you are educated, if you are well researched and have, some muscles to flex in the supernatural and paranormal world, you can delve into the supernatural and paranormal and still come out clean-ish. Okay? Now, all proprietors of the supernatural and magic and what have you, they do have to risk things for knowledge, power, and to help others and to, seek, learn, dabble, if you will. So with me saying that all these entities and, supernatural beings out there, a lot of them are kind of controlled or kind of in a situation where they can be, under the rule of demons. And I say that in parentheses because there are good demons out there. There are a lot of neutral demons out there. There are a lot of nefarious ones, and of course there's ones that are outright evil. All right, they're out to do no good. So I think it's important to kind of establish a groundwork of what demons are. In a sense, I'm not an expert. I'm not like some high-level demonologist, but I know a thing or two. I've researched the subject matter for 2 years, pretty in depth, and I feel like I'm scratching the surface, and I do have some things to say. Of course, there'll be people out there who may not agree with me, but demonic infestation is like the first stage, all right? And a lot of the material online will say that it's much like the onset of a haunting. It's more like an area or a home or a building or objects. Okay, you'll have footsteps, you'll hear voices, phantom smells. Your animals might start acting weird. You'll hear knocks. All those types of things you kind of associate with a haunted home. Why is that? Why does it seem like that it's benign in the beginning? Well, no one is exactly sure why. I'm going to tell you that if these things are happening in your home, you're not going to die the next day. You may not be possessed the next day. You may be totally fine. But there is a range of things that could happen. And I think it's a good idea for you to be able to tell what will transpire after these things start happening. Okay? And this subject matter is really, really complex. Really, really complex. So in an hour we can't cover everything. But if you are experiencing these things, and it seems like it was fine before, but now it's starting to become a thing. You're starting to hear voices where you didn't before, so on and so forth. It's not like you moved into this new home. It was old. It had history. And after a week or two, you just started, experiencing things. That's not the scenario we're talking about. We're talking about like some kind of change in the environment that's anomalous and that is apparent. So could these be signs of demonic infestation? It's possible, but I feel like the reasons these signs appear to be hauntings is there seems to be some type of transition from what you would consider normal reality and the realm where these supernatural entities and paranormal things dwell, where they live, where they do their work. There has to be this crossover, or this transition into their world where they can manifest things into our world, into our minds, into our psyches. Okay? So these things need to happen for potential demons to do work, but it's not always demons. So you may be experiencing these things. They may be relatives, transient beings, beings that are already around you or in the home that seem to be blossoming into your world for whatever reason. Okay. So you'll see out there people will immediately go to the demonic. All right. Because that's where their fear lies. That's where their training and their spiritual practices lie. And that's why they do that. They do that because they do not trust any supernatural entity. They don't trust anything like that, and they do not want to mess with it. And that's not always bad. It's not always good, but at least you are trying to live on the side of caution when you do that. I think that is okay. I feel like there's a lot of reasons why that should be okay, but I want to, also add that you shouldn't want to block or inhibit anything that's coming across that's valuable to you supernaturally or paranormally. Missy, if there's any comments or questions as I'm talking, feel free to interrupt.
Mark Wahlbank, when you did your opening statement, he said some big assumptions there.
Yes, this is all assumptions, and this is all based off my interpretations of things that I've researched. Okay? I wouldn't trust anybody to tell me that anything about the subject matter isn't somebody's opinion or an assumption. All this is based off our perceptions. There's no way to objectify any of this. But if you would like to let me know how you can objectify it, Mark, please let me know. Like, how can you not make assumptions? Let me know about that.
Because how many facts do you know about the subject matter?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of facts, because when I look into demonology, there's a lot of red flags when it comes to the objectiveness of it, the realness of it. Later on I'll get into what I actually think about the whole thing, but all of this is very, very, very opinionated and assumptions and belief based. Okay. So demonic infestation, straightforward is it appears to be like the onset of a haunting. But as the other stages come along, it goes away from your typical haunting and starts leaning into what people believe is possession, eventually possession. But I do want to get your guys' input on what you think about demonic infestation? Why do you think it appears to be similar to a haunting? Do you think there's similarities to demonic infestation and hauntings? Do you think it's completely different? Let me know, because this is definitely a platform where I feel like there's, a lot of fleshing out, a lot of learning that I get from people's opinions and experiences on this show. Please let me know.
Sam Thomas said sometimes dark magic is necessary. Hi, Arden. How are you tonight?
I definitely believe that people feel that, and there's a lot of situations where there's a scenario that it's fight fire with fire. So, but a lot of people would believe that your faith in God and Christianity should definitely help you in all situations, but I don't know how effective that is. I definitely don't know. But basically, demonic infestation is the very first stage that you need to look out for if you believe in it, if you believe in demonic possession and demonic forces against us, manifestations, all those things. You need to be aware of the infestation stage, because it seems to work from the outside in. And it's very interesting, because early in my life, and definitely early on in my paranormal research, I did not believe in, the religious side of things as much. But the more I researched and more I experienced about, the things that involve evil, demons, all that stuff, I can no longer ignore the very high possibility of it being real. At least enough to where I look into it, try to learn as much as I can so I can inform others about it, and just be equipped if I need to be. I know, Missy, I asked you if you believed in demons before we went live. Do you believe in demons just because you believe in God?
I believe there's evil out there. A demon? I don't know.
Do you believe? Do you kind of believe what I kind of suggested, that demons is a huge spectrum? It's not like it's just all of them are like Satan and they.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Sam said, I believe we open doors that weren't meant to be sometimes and don't shut them back.
That's definitely true. I believe that. Is it just me, or is the audio cutting in and out for anyone else? Uh-oh. Are we freezing? Hopefully we're not. Hopefully we're not.
I don't see the freeze. Hold on just a second. Let me listen. You keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping that my noise gate isn't up too high. I thought I had fixed it, but we'll find out. We're getting a lot of comments here. I believe in demonic entities. My house was haunted one time, but not by a demonic entity. Tracy Bacon says, law of attraction and law of invitation applies to infestation situation. I do believe that. I feel like that once that veil becomes thin, you absolutely can decide what ultimately happens. So one example I can think of right now is if you live in a situation where there's a lot of depression, a lot of drug addiction, and a lot of just bad psychological things going on, you can actually attract entities that feed off of that. Okay, so that's one example of a demonic presence that could be attracted by your situation.
The audio sounds fine. Everybody else said it sounded fine. Shannon is the only one having a problem with it.
Okay.
Christy said, I think the demons are within ourselves and making it evil that way.
That's a very interesting take. I feel like there's a lot of belief in that. I feel like as above, so below, as the goat person is kind of indicating there with his hand gestures. I believe that idea and concept and ontology and metaphysics says and teaches that our minds and our bodies and our souls are interconnected with the spirit world, and they're interconnected with us, and they're one. Okay? So it's not as externally separated, individualized as people like to think it is. Like, personification's huge in folklore, in philosophy, and religion. They want to externalize everything, so it's a force against us when it actually is a part of us. And depending on the way you look at religion, a lot of people believe that, God is within, we are God, we are one type of deal. And that definitely, if that's true, that's definitely true with the other end of the spectrum as well.
The other comment to that, the other point of her comment was like a demon creature isn't real, if that makes sense.
But see, the things in our mind can become real enough.
We can manifest it to be real.
Yeah, it's real. It's real enough.
Sam said she sent you a pic.
Okay.
You might remember it, she said.
Okay.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
What's up, Bill? Glad to have you here. I believe energy is energy, and it's all interconnected and the same. Like a demon creature isn't real, if that makes sense. Sam's like, yes, it is.
Yes, it is real.
All right. I'm afraid I'll miss someone's comment, because I feel like there's a lot of, probably a lot we can learn from each other here.
I gotcha. Entities can attract more to sensitive people, especially with a lot of trauma. Like, gonna reference to Harry Potter, a Dementor is a demonic entity that it takes on our darkest thought.
Interesting. Entities can attract more to sensitive people, especially with a lot of trauma, like going reference on Harry Potter, meters demonic entity that it takes our darkest thoughts. Yeah. It's almost like a reflection of ourselves in a way, kind of like the comment before about we attract these things, we also reflect them. And what I have found to be my interpretation of the spirit realm, and that, whatever you want to call it, it's highly morphic. It changes based on you, what energy it interacts with, and what you feed it. And I feel like this is how demonic infestation can work. So a lot of people's belief that, the main goal for demons is to trick, deceive, and use you, and basically break down your potential union with God. And there's a lot of in-betweens there, and a lot of complexities there. But if you read the literature, they basically come down and have bred with our women and caused the whole mess of the world, and has drained, basically, sucked our energy and rendered us mentally ill and void of control. Go ahead.
Arden said the links aren't working for some reason.
The links aren't working, like in the video description?
I think she was trying to send you a donation or something. I don't know. Bill said it worked for me, so it might have been in the video description. Carmen said demonic entities sort of does the same thing where it drains us out. She said, if you've ever seen Harry Potter, the Dementor sucks their souls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It didn't even let me delete them. Here. No.
Okay.
No, trying to send the links to here. She's trying to send the links to the website, to the chat. And
I see the one that you typed out there. It looks like it's fine. Let's see. Yep, it works. That's weird. All right. Bill, what do you think? Do you ever think, to what extent demonics are real? Do you ever have any of those conversations? And Arden, I'm curious about what you think too. What are your thoughts? And you don't have to answer. If you feel like it, you can. I don't want you to feel obligated to.
Not showing as a link for me. What the fuck? Hello, she said.
If not, don't worry about it. I can link this stuff. I will link.
We appreciate you doing it. But...
Yeah, absolutely. So there is Restream. I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, I could probably do it for the individual platforms. All
Sam
right.
said Bill's a bit creepy sometimes.
Sam said Bill's creepy?
Yeah.
What about in your mind?
He said it's real in some people's minds.
Is it fantasy in your mind? Do you believe it's fantasy? It's not real at all? So here's what I'm going to say. So if you believe, this is the way I think. You definitely don't have to go along with this. All right. So if we have souls, and if we die, our consciousness or soul exists after our physical body dies. Excuse me. That means that our consciousness and our soul exists outside of our body. It's not dependent on our brain or our body at all. It just coexists with it. So once we die, that still remains. If that's true, that means it is separate from us. So if our consciousness and our soul is separate from us, that means there's other things that are also separate. So the other aspects of, philosophy are good and evil, right? Since we can be good or evil, that means that those things are external forces as well. So I believe that if we are, supernatural beings that, coexist with physical beings, then that leaves room logically for good and evil and the personification of it, since we are personifications of souls as well.
Sam Thomas said hell is real. And then the next comment she made was not like burning fire, but there's hell of sorts. There is a hell of sorts. And Bill said, I haven't seen any evidence it's real, but The Exorcist scared the hell out of me as a kid. Carmen said, I think most people won't believe unless they personally had an experience with some sort of demonic presence. Christy said, I think demons are us as humans, which when we die, that spirit could potentially be the same and cause all kinds of hell. Maisie said, I believe the recounted experiences Bishop James Long has spoken about. I sincerely hope that I never have to face anything demonic.
Me too. There's been a couple times where I believe I have, and it's not good at all. And I also believe that not all entities that are considered demons are bad that's going to wreck your life either. It's a complex thing, and there's more subtleties about demons that aren't taught because of how Christianity is generally taught. But if you look into demonology and you look into the lore and the literature and the folklore of it, it's very interesting. A lot of it, especially the Gnostic teachings that are, basically removed from Christianity, is that fallen angels, aka the Watchers, taught us a lot of things that we still use and know today. And basically the whole part in Genesis where Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, it was basically demonic influence giving us that awareness. But see, in the Bible, it's portrayed as a sin against God to do that. So that it's very interesting, because there's a level of knowledge that was forbidden to us. And there may be, and ultimately there's a reason for that, because the more we know, the more we can murk ourselves, the more we can, create atom bombs to kill millions of people, if you think about it, there's reasons why I could see why, if there was a divine creator, they wouldn't want us to have that. So it's a double-edged sword for sure. I feel like there's got to be a lot more in the Gnostic teachings and the literature that would probably provide a lot more information for that.
Arden said, I think sometimes we create our own hell, and that affects the mental state, which can cause some to see things that may not necessarily actually be there.
Like an hallucination?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chief Lynn said, I saw my old girlfriend get 3 scratches on her arm while reading the Bible. Then they disappeared right before my eyes while grabbing for a camera. I never laughed so hard in my life looking at her expression.
Jesus. Wow.
Carmen said, it can't be a Zach Bagans deal, LMAO. Claim everything is demonic. Yes, you have demonic presence, but you also have angry souls that don't make them demonic.
Right.
Tracy Bacon said a human spirit can be used by the demonic, but does not become demon. Yes, human spirit can be evil, just like living people can be evil.
So if you look at Solomonic magic, or the demonology of King Solomon, a lot of those demons, the 72 under the 4 king demons, have spirits under their control. So now correct me, am I wrong, Tracy? You may know, or others. Those spirits can be inhuman spirits, and they can also be once living spirits as well. But mostly, I believe that they're inhuman spirits. So there's definitely a hierarchy going on in a lot of literature I've read about. Thanks, Wade. Appreciate it. So this could go into like multiple episodes. If you want me to do a whole demonology like series, I can, if that's what you want me to do. But I feel like, it could. I don't want it to be like, I get some kind of crazy feedback or it causes something bad. I don't want that to happen. Because, when you start plucking on people's belief strings, bad things tend to happen. So if you want me to do a series on other things demonic, it's just going to be educational.
Joseph said the mind is a very powerful thing.
It is.
Arden said the word demon is thrown around way too much.
Yeah, please do research.
Carmen said this is a touchy subject only because you have so many layers of demonic. Arden said, look at some of these YouTubers who throw the word around, and it all just for subs and a quick cash game.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Okay.
Liam Thomas said guest.
We could. Just the fact that we're doing this topic alone, we got definitely a little bit more viewers than normal and a lot more comments.
Interaction, yeah.
So I don't think that's a coincidence.
Carmen said that's like doing poltergeist that has many layers to among demonic.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like a lot of magic and a lot of witchcraft. I'm not going, I don't want to get hate for this, but a lot of practitioners of magic and energy work deal with entities that many esoteric groups would call demonic. but that doesn't mean they're evil. Okay, the word demon doesn't even mean evil. Like the origins, the Greek origins of it don't even mean evil. Okay, it doesn't. If you do the research, I'm not gonna, sit up on a soapbox and preach to you guys. But if you go back and look at the origins of all this stuff, it doesn't even mean evil. It kind of it's evolved and changed over the years, depending on what societies and cultures you're looking at.
Hi, Miss Desiree.
It's changed. Okay. So a lot of things that happened in Catholicism changed a lot. Okay. A lot of things, the Gnostic literature that we see are spin-offs from, a lot of ancient cultures. All right. And those went into a lot of the Abrahamic faiths that you see now. But a lot of the demons that you see now were divine gods of pagans and folklore. That's what we're seeing a lot of now. But if you look at King Solomon demonology, that came out before the Bible. So those characters from that, set of entities aren't, associated with, what we see as Christianity demonology. Because when you look at the Christian demonology, they tend to lean more towards the 7 deadly sins and the 7 demons associated with them, and they, with Satan being the ringleader of them. Okay, and it's looked at very differently. So there's a lot of different, things when I look at demonology, it looks like you got the DC universe and the Marvel universe, and you got all these other things out there, and they're all out there separately.
I am going to read some comments so I can catch up.
Good.
Desiree Bowman said there are so many people out there that don't do their research.
Unfortunately, no, you're right. Yeah.
Arden said, I believe there's something to it, but not in the way some people make it out to be.
That's true.
Christy said, sometimes I think our daughter could be a demon. Sometimes, if you don't give her food.
Oh, God.
Bill said 2/3 of the entire world believe there's some kind of a higher power.
Uh-huh.
Sam said, my heaven will be a forest.
I'm sorry, what was that?
My heaven will be a forest.
Okay.
Shannon said, exactly. How do we have meaningful conversation when there are so many definitions of demonic? It's purposefully obtuse to keep I don't even know that word, from forming and information being exchanged.
Consensus.
Yeah, consensus from forming and the information being exchanged.
I don't look at it like that, Shannon. What I see in the complexity, and you may even say absurdity of all the different things when you read, it comes from different cultures and how, religious texts and literature is being used to form other, religions. Religion is essentially, morphic in that way. Like they borrow from here and they add to here to kind of create their own, idea of what their religious belief is. Okay. But demons are personifications or archetypes that our psyches kind of manifest. Okay. The names really don't mean a whole lot, but we like to label things, our humans and society like to do that. So we have a finger to point at, like that's the demon of wrath, and that's the demon of sloth, and that's a demon of sex, and and all that type of stuff. So we tend to do that, But these, but when look at them, I look at them as more of archetypes, of more of, structures of our subconscious. Because when we look deep in our subconscious, we all share the same fears of what we feel evil is. And I feel like, the 7 deadly sin demons tend to do a very good job of, what archetypal, reflections that are evil or bad about our psyches. But when you look at King Solomon demonology, that's more like magic and witchcraft, and you can summon demons to do your will, and it's so esoteric and so secret, it makes you look cool when you do it. Okay, and that's kind of a different thing. And you got all this, pagan folklore and all, stuff that stems from Greek mythology and creation myths and all that stuff. It's all kind of intertwined and, starts to melt. There's like a melting pot of oncology and metaphysics that tends to, do weird things in demonologies. I hope that kind of give you a better insight on my take of it.
Derek said, I think some entities that are called demons are actually ancient or very old entities that are here to protect certain areas that they believe to be theirs from their time.
Who said that?
Derek.
Ah. So Derek, let me know why you said that.
And then he also said some are elementals and some are PK.
I like
and Kirsty
that.
said, I believe this also. Tracy said, Sam said there are over 2,400 different religions. Tracy Bacon said, I'm old school demonology. I use the term as the general public recognizes it, because that is usually who I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. And Bill said, is it real or are we all delusional, including people that are running the whole world?
He asked the question, is it real?
Yeah.
Is demonic entities real?
Or are we all delusional?
Let me ask you a better question. Are you real? If you find that the answer to that question is easy, then the question of demons being real should be simple for you too. If you ask yourself, am I real, and find it difficult to answer to that, then it's also difficult to answer if demons are real. But the way I look at it is, we're just as real as, we believe we are. So I can ask Missy over here, am I real? And she's like, yes, I can see you. You're physical, yeah, you're real, but that is a subjective, perception of, based on our, senses. I can tell you that I've seen all these things and experienced all these things, and they can be completely batshit crazy to someone else because it didn't happen to them. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So it just depends on who you ask. Is it real? The answer I would give it to you is, it's real, but whether it's what this group over here says it is or what this group over here says it is, that is the problem that we have to answer. That's the hard thing to answer. It is real. There is an external, evil force out there. But what is it? Is it angry spirits like, well, a lot of people think it is? Sure, if that's all you encounter, then that's all you're going to know. You only know as much as you're going to experience or encounter. And then you have to base and derive your own decision on how you're perceiving it.
Sam said karma once meant spirituality within oneself.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Karma once meant spirituality within oneself.
Okay.
Desiree said the Book of Enoch says there are 200 fallen angels that were cast out with Lucifer. I'm just starting to really research this.
I don't remember reading anything about Lucifer in the 200 Watchers group. So, can you kind of help direct me to the portion where it talks about Lucifer in Book of Enoch?
Shannon said Derek Schreiner. Yep, love this as a definition. Sam said, hell, I'm not real, I'm a ghost. Maisie said it is important that physical and mental illness is ruled out before possession gets put forward as a diagnosis. In the past, epilepsy was diagnosed as possession.
Right.
Joseph said, in what sense are talking real?
Good question. So, real is something that is objective truth versus subjective truth. Okay. Basically, what subjective truth is simply what you believe to be true, whether it's objectively true or not. Something objectively true is what the consensus believes is fact and true, and that has been scrutinized and held up by, evidence. The moon orbits the earth, and the earth is round, and the sun is a burning ball of gas that radiates, heat and light onto the face of the earth, and so on and so forth. That's real. But science also would argue that the universe is a simulation or a hologram. So that would kind of take away from what we believe is real from it. Because what we kind of define real as being the most fundamental parts of our reality. But if we find out that there's, something that opposes what we believe is fundamental about our reality, then we tend to take away the realness of what we think it is real, if that makes sense.
Chief Lynn said, yes, religion versus what it is. And Derek said, because the word demon has been around for centuries, but many early cultures believed in many different things, but almost all had to protect their property at all costs. But ancient cultures believed in spirit animals and gods and would do rituals in animal outfits so there are many different layers to it.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph said, and what's it? Well, he re-typed his question because I hadn't gotten to it yet. Sam said the Book of Enoch is very interesting.
It is.
And Chieflin said, are werewolves real? Some call them skinwalkers.
Some people claim to have seen them and encountered them. So you tell me, man.
I know ghosts are real ever since I saw one, Bill said. Desiree said 2 Enoch 18. I believe they are called myriads. I just started on all of this, so I may be incorrect.
So the leader of the Watchers, as far as I know, is Samyaza. And there's no mention of Lucifer among the 200 Watchers. That's a separate group of angels who actually become fallen angels after they started doing a whole bunch of nefarious things that God told them not to do. Like start mating with, human women, and they basically taught women how to put on makeup, and they taught men how to make weapons and fight each other with war tactics, and it goes on and on and on. But Samyaza was the leader of them.
Dana Morrison said, I love the series called American Gods. It's interesting to think the old gods need our attention and can cause chaos to keep from being forgotten.
Yeah, I feel like if you do research in egregores, that the whole idea of how they need us to do things is very interesting. So real is the difference for everyone. So how can we put a definite answer to that? There are no definite answers, but that doesn't stop us from trying to find them, Joseph. Essentially, at the end of the day, you're going to have to make a decision whether you believe something or not. How much you believe in it is up to you. Some people tend to believe these types of things a lot. Like they either believe in God or believe in Satan a lot, or they really don't believe in it much at all, if at all. Okay, but if you believe in a higher power and you have a strong belief in that, but that's about it, you belong to the larger tribe out there. Because I feel most people believe something to be higher than them, but that's about all they believe and all they could really answer.
Sam said you set 7 different religions of cloth and let them all read the same religious scrolls, and each one would write what they are taught to.
Or add their own beliefs and, stuff into it, their own ideas. Absolutely. But, there was this whole thing with religious writing too. And it also goes back to certain conspiracy theories that I learned about, because a lot of people believe that there's code written in the actual words of the Quran and the Abrahamic faiths. Okay? So if that's true, they really depended on all the copies and over time for it to be exactly the same. So it depends on what you're looking at.
Chieflin said that's a human trait. Desiree said, yes, Satan now was their prince. They supposedly took human wives.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph said, I totally agree, Justin.
Yeah, no one out there knows exactly what's going on. They just have beliefs, And I'm just going to say this. A lot of people who believe in the holy rolling Christianity part of that tend to have a lot of guilt. And people with a lot of guilt need to be saved from that. Needs to have like an out for that. They need to be able to know that they can sleep at night or go out of this earth when they're, dead as clean. Because that does bother a lot of people. Because a lot of people has done a lot of bad things and they don't want to leave this earth dirty. So how are they going to do that?
Chieflin said, yes, you need to ask the question first and then seek the answer, i.e. investigating. Just don't believe blindly.
Definitely don't believe blindly. This hour's already over.
I know.
That went really fast.
Yeah.
That went really fast.
I should keep an open mind to all of the unknown. You are right, Joseph.
So what is the takeaway? Let's wrap this up, Missy. Have you learned anything, Missy? No, that face is no. All right, so the takeaway is demonic infestation looks a lot like a haunting. But a haunting looks a lot like demonic infestation. So discernment is key, and looking for what follows is key. So don't be too quick about judging a haunting as demonic infestation and vice versa. You really, really want to be careful about how you look at it. But be open-minded, okay? it's in my belief that we're affected by a lot of supernatural stuff out there that we know very little about. But it's not always grandma, and it's not always your spirit guide. It could be anything at all times. So be aware, okay? And the whole word demon should not mean just one thing. Do your research. I urge you guys to go out there. There's lots of cool YouTube videos about demonology. I will recommend Mr. Mythos, I think his name is. If you're interested in the YouTube videos, message me on Facebook or email me at justinbrowninterfacedeath.net, and I'll send you a lot of good YouTube videos if you don't like reading. But there is a lot of stuff out there to read. Definitely read different sources and cross-check them. If they're all different, that can kind of tell you that it's just a lot based on opinion. But there is a lot of stuff out there to get you learning about what demonology is and what possession is. All right. Is there any other questions or comments before we depart?
Joseph said the takeaway is Justin is full of it. Ha, just joking.
I am full of stuff, and that's probably why you're here. I am
Maisie
full of it.
said, I've learned that I want to know more.
Nice. Don't ask about quantum physics. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Probably good advice.
I'm glad I caught y'all, which I wasn't. I wasn't late. Wish I wasn't late. Desiree, honey, we're here every Wednesday.
You didn't miss a whole lot.
8
But
p.m.
I'm glad you're here. 8 p.m. Yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll do another poll to see what you guys want me to talk about. So keep an eye out on the Necromancer live show on Facebook. If you're not following that page, please do so. And I also share it on my my normal Facebook page. And I stream on Facebook, YouTube. I am trying to learn how to stream on Instagram. It is a new thing, but I haven't tested and got it to work yet. I do stream on Twitter if you're watching on Twitter, which I doubt you are, but I do. You can follow us on those platforms. Definitely check out our Patreon. I will throw it up here real quick. There it is. Please extend your thanks to the people you see on the screen. Without their support, we definitely couldn't do what we're doing. Thank you very much for all the supporters on Patreon. You don't know how much it helps, but it does. Thank you very much. And keep an eye out for that poll. If you have any suggestions or leads on who we could bring on as a guest to talk about, whatever we want to talk about in the paranormal, it is always appreciated to get, people on the show to find out what they think. And hopefully we can all meet in the middle and maybe go in the same direction when we do our research and learn about what's out there. You guys have a good night. I will see you next week. Have a good one.